The city lights blurred through the rain-streaked window of Anna's small apartment. It was 2025. The world outside was buzzing with noise, yet all she could hear was the deafening silence of her own failure. Her dream felt like a cruel joke. She wanted to build a community center, a sanctuary of art and music. In a neighborhood everyone else had forgotten, but, honestly, the obstacles were mountains. Funding was a ghost. Permits were a tangled mess of red tape. The rejection letters piled up, each one a paper-thin monument to her naivety. She felt the weight of it all pressing down on her, crushing the very air from her lungs. The world saw a lost cause, and tonight, looking at her reflection in the dark glass, so did she. It felt impossible. Everyone told her it couldn't be done. "You're too young," they said. "You don't have the connections." That part of town is a black hole for investment. Their words echoed in her mind, a chorus of doubt that drowned out her own conviction. She had poured her savings. She had poured her time. She had poured her very soul into this project. She had sketched blueprints until her fingers were sore. She had written proposals until the words lost all meaning. But for what? To be met with closed doors and condescending smiles? The isolation was a cold, heavy blanket. She was a solo act on a vast, empty stage, singing a song no one wanted to hear. The days that followed were a gray, monotonous blur. Anna went through the motions, her spirit tethered to the ground. The fire in her eyes had dimmed to a low ember. Waking up each morning felt less like a new start and more like a continuation of the same defeat. She would open her laptop, stare at the business plan, and feel a wave of nausea. The words on the screen seemed to mock her. Projected growth, community impact. They were just empty phrases now, ghosts of a future that would never come to be. She started avoiding calls from her family, unable to bear the feigned optimism in their voices. Quitting felt like a release, a sweet surrender. Her apartment, once a vibrant hub of creativity, began to feel like a cage. She found herself scrolling endlessly through social media, watching others celebrate their victories. Promotions, engagements, new homes. Each happy post was a small, sharp sting. It felt like everyone else was moving forward on a brightly lit highway while she was stuck on a dark, deserted side road with a flat tire and no spare. The thought of giving up was a constant, seductive whisper. "Just let it go," it said. "You tried. That's more than most people do. No one will blame you." The idea of reclaiming her old, simpler life was tempting. There were moments of intense struggle, battles waged entirely within her own mind. One afternoon she bundled all her blueprints and proposals into a large cardboard box. Her hands trembled as she taped it shut. This was it. She would put it in the closet, out of sight and out of mind. It was a symbolic act of surrender. As she pushed the box into the darkness, a profound sadness washed over her. She wasn't just giving up on a project, she was giving up on a piece of herself. Just as the silence in her life was becoming unbearable, a new sound entered. It came in the form of an unexpected email from a man named Marcus Thorne. He was a retired architect, a local legend who had designed some of the city's most beloved public spaces decades ago. He had somehow stumbled upon an old article about her initial proposal online. His message was short and direct. "Your idea has a pulse. Most don't. I'm retired, not dead. Let's get coffee." Anna stared at the screen, her heart skipping a beat. It was the first positive response she had received in months. They met in a small, sunlit cafe. Marcus was an older man with kind eyes and hands that had shaped buildings. He didn't offer empty platitudes, he listened, her frustrations, her doubts, and her near surrender. He nodded slowly, his gaze never wavering. When she finished, her voice raw with emotion, he simply said, "Good. You've been through the fire. Now you know what it's made of." He didn't promise to solve her problems. He didn't offer money. He didn't offer connections. He offered something far more valuable: perspective. He saw her challenge not as a wall, but as a series of stones that could be moved one by one. Marcus became her mentor. He didn't give her a map, but he taught her how to read the stars. "Stop trying to move the mountain," he told her. "Start by showing people how to move a single stone. People don't fund impossible dreams, they fund tangible progress." Years of relentless effort, of moving one stone at a time, finally led to the grand opening. Today, on September 6, 2025, the impossible had become reality. The once imagined community center stood proudly, a modern beacon of glass and reclaimed wood where an abandoned warehouse once stood. It wasn't built by one massive donation, but by 1,000 small acts of faith. From initial crowdfunding to medium-sized grants to a final contribution from a city council that had seen the undeniable impact. The journey had been long and arduous, but standing here, it all made sense. Anna stood on a small stage in the center's main hall, looking out at a sea of faces. She saw the children from the first art day, now teenagers. She saw the business owners who had donated supplies. She saw the city officials who had once dismissed her. And in the front row, she saw Marcus, his eyes beaming with pride. The room was buzzing with the vibrant energy she had once only dreamed of. In one corner, a pottery class was underway. From a soundproofed room down the hall, she could hear the faint, muffled beat of a drum. It was more than a building. It was a living, breathing heart for the neighborhood. Taking a deep breath, Anna spoke into the microphone. Her voice didn't tremble. It was clear and strong, forged in the fires of doubt and perseverance. She didn't talk about balance sheets or construction timelines. She talked about the feeling of being alone in a dark room. She talked about the fear and the isolation. Then she talked about the first spark of hope, the power of a single small step. She told them that the building wasn't her accomplishment, it was theirs. It was proof that a determined community could achieve anything. Her story became a legend in the city, a modern fable about the power of not giving up. Don't let anyone, especially yourself, tell you it's impossible. Start with one stone. Make one person believe. That is how you move a mountain. That is how you change the world.